So, preliminaries to meditation, page number 413. When the thought of going back to the origin was stirred up in man, it became essential for him to bring activity which had sprung up in him into a latent state as far as it was possible. He began to seek out means for it. At last, it came to his understanding that just as the latent motion was grosser in comparison to the absolute with which it was connected, even so, he must take up something grosser for the purpose to enable him to attain the desired ideal of reality. This led him to the conclusion that he must create in him a form of contraction or withdrawal similar to that at the time of Pralaya. Now, the self is all pervading in man, just as it is in the universe, taking the universe in a collective sense. The state of Pralaya comes in when the contraction begins to take place. A similar contraction in man leads to individual Pralaya. That means that he began to proceed from his state of grossness to the real state. The contraction always starts from below and proceeds gradually upwards because of its upward tendency. Therefore, in order to go upwards, he must start contracting from below. The form of contraction could be only be to bring his legs and Ali's parts to one pose and to keep them steady. In whatever way it might be done, the form will finally assume that of an asana. It is essential because it paves our way to the reality. This posture must always be the same. The reason is that in this way he gets himself closely associated with the great power, the very thing he takes up in the beginning for the attainment of this particular objective. So, underline that. The reason is that in this way he gets himself associated with the great power, the very thing that he takes up in the beginning, but that for the attainment of this particular objective. So, by holding a steady posture all the time with the legs folded, you actually get in connection with the same power. Thus, the form which is associated with reality helps him a good deal in his primary initiation. The upright posture of the back, neck, and the head in an erect straight line during the meditation has been thought to be the most advantageous from very ancient times because the flow of divine energy is believed to descend straight upon the Abhyasi in that posture. In our way of practice, however, this is not insisted upon. Underline ಮಾಡಿ. In our way of practice, this is not insisted upon. I advise the Abhyasis generally to sit in a natural, easy posture. Moreover, even those who assume a tight, straight pose are found to give way automatically to a supplicant, slightly forward drooping posture as the state of blissful absorbency sets in. As such, it may be considered to be more natural even for the purpose of ascent into the higher state of consciousness. In fact, a controversy over a point of comparatively lower significance seems irrelevant. It is better to sit in the grey of the morning for meditation or when that is not possible at any fixed hour convenient to the Abhyasi. Do not feel disturbed with the outer things but remain engaged with your own work, thinking that they are in a way helping you to feel this necessity for greater absorption in your practice. So that's the way of dealing with it. So whenever you hear any other noises from outside, think that they're actually helping you to become more absorbed inside. That's what you do. So you take help from the external noises that you feel during the meditation, and that will actually push you towards inner absorbency. Prayer. O Master, thou art the real goal of human life. We are yet but slaves of wishes, putting bar to our advancement. Thou art the only God and power to bring us up to that stage. Now, one thing more by way of practice is to offer this short prayer daily at bedtime in the most supplicant mood with the heart overwhelming with the divine love. So ಅದು ಅನ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು with the heart at bedtime with the most supplicant mood with the heart overflowing with divine love. Repeat the prayer in your mind once or twice and begin to meditate over it for a few moments. The prayer must be offered in a way as if some most miserable man is laying down his miseries with a deeply affected heart before the Supreme Master, imploring for his mercy and grace with tearful eyes. Then alone can they become a deserving aspirant. So, this whole paragraph, how do you do the prayer? You will have to write either in closed book section or open book section. So, that will be a question. There are many methods of loving God, and most bhavas are resorted to. Paternal sentiment, uh, Pitru bhava, friendly sentiment, sakha bhava, etc. In my opinion, there can be no relationship better than of lover and beloved. If an Abhyasi thinks himself to be the lover and takes God to be the beloved, and proceeds with the same attain the sentiment, the result will be that God himself will become the lover and the Abhyasi becomes the beloved in due course. But if one thinks that one is realized the goal at this stage, it will be a serious blunder. What remains further cannot be stated, for it is related to practice alone. So, three stages. First stage, you are the lover, God is beloved. Second stage, God is the lover, you are the beloved. Third stage, something beyond. Three stages. So, suppose you love somebody and they are the object of your love, beloved. So, that's the initial relationship. And then they also start loving you and you become their beloved. So, you are their lover and they are the lover, you are their beloved. So, that's the second stage. But what's the point of loving if you're not going to live afterwards together? So, that's the third stage. Did you get the point? That's why Babaji says, what remains further cannot be stated. It is only a matter of practice. Right? What's the point of loving if you're not going to live together after that? So, as of now, you're eating shenga alone. Huh? You might get somebody who is going to give you the shenga. Prayer remains the most important and the unfailing means of success. Underline that. Prayer remains the most important and unfailing means of success. Through it, we have established our link with the Holy Divine. The reason why prayer should be offered with a heart full of love and devotion is that one should create within oneself a state of vacuity so that the flow of the divine grace may be directed towards Him. So that's the point of praying. You pray with a heart full of love and devotion so that a state of vacuity is created in the heart and the divine grace is directed towards it. When the word emerged into the present form, the central point was already rooted deep in all the beings. This central point, rooted in us being a part of the Supreme, turns our attention towards the source. In prayer, we try to reach up to the same central point. This is possible only when we create a similar state within. This requires practice. It can be attained by resigning ourselves to the divine will, which is absolutely simple and tranquil. Apparently, it seems to be very difficult, but in fact, it's not so, though only for those who aspire for it. When a man creates in him a strong craving for the absolute, he is indeed in a state of prayer, and it is for everyone to strive for. Underline this. When a man creates in him a strong craving for the absolute, he is already in a state of prayer, and it is for everyone to strive for. Whenever man enters into that state, even for a moment, his prayer is granted. So, this is another question. When is the prayer granted? Prayer is granted in such a state where there is so strong craving for the absolute that he is in a state of prayer. But it requires continued practice to accomplish it. People should be exhorted to offer such a type of prayer. If one achieves and settles down in it, what else remains for him to do except remembrance, and that too in a way that never comes into his consciousness ever? So, when is the prayer absolutely answered? When you have developed such degree of craving towards the absolute that you are always in a prayerful state. So, if you want to develop a prayerful state and you want to become an embodiment of prayer, all that you need to develop is intense craving for the absolute.
Could it be intellectual questions also?
Intellectual question.
Saying, I want to experience the absolute reality and that. If there is that craving, can that be called the craving for ultimate and can it be called prayerful?
Craving always starts at an intellectual level. Gradually, it descends into your system to go to the feeling level. It then descends further into the system to go into a fine vibrational state. So it can start at a grosser level of intellect, but it has to kind of descend into the core of your being. That is when the prayer becomes answerable. So it never goes unanswered. When the craving for the absolute becomes part of your core of your being, then the prayer can never go unanswered. Not at the periphery, but it should become part of the core of your being. So every moment, every part of your body, every part of your mind, every cell in your body should be craving for that reality or the absolute. So that cannot be at the level of the intellect alone. Intellect is too peripheral. It's something like you say that no, that I want to give up love, life for my lover. So when somebody says I want to give up my love for the life for the lover, where are they actually feeling that love? They're feeling that love at the core of their being. That life is also kind of sacrificable for the sake of that love. Yeah. It is not at the level of the mind or the intellect, right? So you can ask Dheeraj. He is nodding his head strongly. Dheeraj has had an experience of that. You can secretly ask him after the meeting is over.
So, going back, the question itself descends so deep into the heart, and if it shakes the whole reality, and it is at that state.
Shakes your whole being in such a way that the core of the samskaras are shattered and the reality now begins to be perceived. So that's why that intense craving for the reality should be there. If at all somebody wants to go to reality, what needs to catch hold of their heart is this craving for reality. That's it. Once the heart catches hold of this disease of craving for the reality, disease means it is not like disease in physical body. Disease is disease. In other words, the heart is never at ease without the reality. So the heart should feel that pangs of separation all the time. Then you see the magic. Okay. Priya, you are there or you are not there? Or you are feeling the pangs in obscurity?
I'm here. This
You are
mobile is
there.
getting
No
charged.
power.
No, power is there. Mobile is getting charged, and then I will switch on my video.
Mobile is getting charged off. So that's why you have not turned on the video. Okay. So
Brother,
now constant remembrance.
um, I forgot the question. 1 second. So this thing that if the question really scares one person, scares as in it does a scar in the person's heart.
Why does
Then,
it cause a scar, right? Just kind of
Right.
pierces through all the layers and goes to the core of the heart. That's all.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry. So in that process, that person can not really enjoy the material life as much because every time they do anything, they only feel that separation. But then
We
there's
can say
also,
that it is colored by the separation. Until unless the beauty is that initially, as you go through this process, you might not enjoy as much as other people who tend to identify themselves with the body and the mind. Because you tend to kind of get every of your experience colored by these um, pangs of separation. Okay. So, in a way, you can say that you are in deficit. Okay. Because you have that deficit of experience, of the richness of experience, so to say. Because you are having that coloring of the pangs of separation in every experience that you pass through. But when you actually reach the core and all the things are shattered, then the reality comes out in so much, such a blazing way that every experience now becomes enriched to such an extent that the deficit is not only wiped off, now you are in surplus. So, in that way, you are no loser. You will always be a gainer only. But then now, there is no question of the pangs of separation coloring your experience. The reality colors your experience. The reality enriches your experience, which is not possible for any other person without this process. So you have to sacrifice in the schools and colleges in order that you can get the degree and get a good job and prosper in life. So in order to prosper in spiritual life, you have to sacrifice some of these things and allow that coloring to have an impact on the richness of the experience. Then, like you actually get a degree and get a job and then evolve to good life, you also evolve into a good spiritual life, good real life after touching the reality, the core. Does it make sense? So you are not in deficit. So no, don't worry. Spirituality will never keep you in deficit. It's always going to add some richness to your life. So nobody ever who practices spirituality in the right way will ever actually be in deficit in life. In fact, the kind of life that they can experience with wholesomeness, nobody else can experience. Most of the people are others, like touching or scratching on the surface of life, the real life. They are leading the real life after passing through the stages of spirituality. So, scratching the surface is like you are trying to learn the language now. That's like scratching the surface. Leading real life means you are just playing around with the language of the computer that you are actually working with. Does it make sense? So that is what happens. So constant remembrance. Constant remembrance of God is of course a special feature in spirituality. The method for cultivating constant remembrance is to think firm, with firm conviction during your leisure hours, whether in office or at home, in the street or the market, that God is pervading all over and everywhere and you are thinking of Him. So this is one of the prayerful suggestions that Master has given, that everything around you is immersed in divine remembrance. So when you go for a walk, you can have this thought. When you are actually in the street, you can have this thought. When you are actually in the market, you can have this thought that everything around you is immersed in divine remembrance. So when you include everything around you, you include yourself also. So you are also immersed in the divine remembrance. That is what happens. So try to remain in the same thought as long as you can. The minds of people are absorbed every moment and think about the various problems of their material life, and their attention is seldom diverted towards God except when they are in deep distress and misery. Sankata Bandhaga Venkatamana. So only when you are in deep distress and misery you think of God. The reason is that they attach primary importance to their worldly interests alone, which constantly remain in their view. Thus, they remain entangled within Maya without ever thinking of getting out of it at any stage. Frequent remembrance of God, though greatly helpful, is not at all that we need for our final success in realization. Is not all that we need for our final success in realization. We generally begin an important thing in the name of God, and it is customary in almost every religion to do so. But that's only a matter of formality and has no significance. We never dedicate the thing to God in the real sense, and at heart, we are in fact quite away from the idea of God. Remembrance of God thus is of no avail. So, remembering at a surface level is of no avail. You need to feel the presence of the God. The real significance of the custom is that we must remain in touch with the idea of God in all our phases of mental and physical activities. We must feel ourselves connected with the Supreme Power every moment with an unbroken chain of thought during all our activities. It can be easily accomplished if we treat all our actions and work to be part of the divine duty entrusted to us by the Great Master, whom we are there to serve as best as we can. Some people think that constant remembrance or frequent remembrance of God is not practicable when a man in life is surrounded by numerous worries and anxieties caused by worldly attachments and responsibilities. But practice and experience will prove to them that it is a very easy process and can be followed by any and everyone in spite of all their worries and entanglements, only if they learn to divert their attention towards God in the real sense. इतना आपको I have told you. There are many times when we drive thinking about certain things that happened in the office or at home, and we are able to drive safely, reach our destination. Mind is engrossed in the thinking, but automatically you are driving on the street. So there are many times when you are walking on the street, but you are engrossed in something. So the body is walking, but your mind is engrossed in something. So when you can actually do things at two different realms simultaneously, why can't you do three things when at three different levels? So the body is doing one thing, the mind is doing another thing, and the heart is immersed in remembrance of God. That's a matter of practice. Once you learn this, spirituality becomes like child's play. It doesn't matter because whatever you might be doing, your heart is immersed in divine remembrance. It is like the story that Daji has written in Spiritual Anatomy, that for the sake of the lover, the hero goes through the pond and he actually steps on the crocodiles and then crosses the river and then goes to the lover's mansion. Next day morning, he realizes that he actually walked on the crocodiles. And what he thought was the rope to climb onto the mansion of the beloved were the snakes in the garden. In other words, they're totally unmindful of what they are doing, but they will be doing, right? Everything becomes, what do you say, uh, an aid for your journey. So I'll give one song for Priya to look at. You remember that song from Three Idiots?
Zubidoo.
Ah, see, Gopal Krishna remembers. So that song is very similar to what we are now talking about. Oh, your favorite movie? Okay, good. So that song actually epitomizes how a lover actually perceives the beloved. So, in other words, just look at it. The crocodile or snake is no longer impediment to reach the beloved. So, all the difficulties, all the miseries, all the sufferings that we pass through life is no longer an impediment to remember the beloved and reach the beloved. That is what it means. So, the worst of the difficulties in life becomes an aid for your journey towards the beloved. So, whether the beloved keeps you happy or keeps you sad or angry, you always remember the beloved. So, it is a kind of love ka nasha, intoxication of love. So, in that state of intoxication, nothing touches you. आप सभी जो जग का होने वाला है, होने अनहोने से परे है. You are outside the realm of all the things that happens in this world. You are just in your own world, going directly in a lightning speed towards God. Your body and mind is here, but your heart is going away. So that is what happens. It is to be experienced, to actually, what do you say, to live it, to feel and live it. Very few people can get that experience. So, are you able to, or are you in a position to let go of all these smaller nitty-gritties of this life? Or you want to get engrossed in all these small nitty-gritties, forgetting the great possibility that this life can hold you with? That's something that we have to actually ask ourselves. Are we able to get over these simple nitty-gritties of life to be able to accomplish the higher purpose of life? Now, that doesn't mean to say that you should not do the nitty-gritties of life. You do it. But then you would just do the nitty-gritties also as duty from God. So the nitty-gritties of life is also something worthwhile to help you remember the divine. So then your entire system now becomes immersed in love. So Priya sister, you remember some other movie, I think.
I was asking that in Mahabharata, Kunti said Krishna that give me miseries, and because of that, I will remember more about Krishna and all this. Thanks. So, in Sahajmar, we have said that we need not have to ask for miseries. But there, like how you explained the example that with because of miseries only we will remember Master or God. So, means then how these things are related, or there should not be any asking or
In
something.
our system, we don't seek miseries. It is just that you learn how to handle the miseries properly. The misery should be used as an aid for your realization. We should not get bogged down by miseries. अगर हमको तकलीफ आता है तो हम तकलीफ से बंधे नहीं होते। तकलीफ होने के बावजूद हम तकलीफ से परे होते हैं। ये सीखना है, ऐसा जीना है। ठीक है। So my Hindi is getting better, no?
Absolutely.
I think I don't know. I don't know UP Hindi. I think UP Hindi
No,
is pretty classical though.
you are perfect in that. I have seen that in the meetings also. Sitting ko baithak and all those things.
So no, it's just that when you have a hold on Hindi, you are able to reach out to a larger section of population. That's all. So I think you need to, at some point of time, allow the divinity to express in whichever language it wants to. And that's something that we all need to kind of endure. Because at the end of the day, it's not the language that is actually conveying the meaning. The feeling behind the language is what is actually being felt by you all. It's not just the words that is actually being uttered. Words are a means to actually convey the feelings and vibration behind. So, what's the point of somebody saying "I love you" without the feeling or the vibrations behind it? It doesn't make any sense, no? So, ask Gopal Krishna about it. Gopal Krishna, do you agree or not?
Whatever.
What's the point of using the word "I love you" without the sense of feeling and vibrations behind it? Right? It acquires value because of the feelings and the vibrations behind it, not otherwise. Alva. Anyway, he's too shy to talk about it now because he's going to turn 26 in the next 2 days. Wrong candidate to talk about love. There is no wrong candidate as far as love is concerned. Love, in its subtlest of the essence, is there in the heart of everyone. Whether we feel that we are able to perceive it or not, whether we feel whether we are able to catch that subtlety or not. But as and when we go towards the core of our being, we will experience that subtle love in all pervading our system. As of now, we are engrossed with so many grosser things, so we are not able to perceive that subtle love which is there in the core of our being, pervading the entire system. When we go towards the core and we gradually get an ability to feel that subtle love, then you will see that the subtle love is pervading the entire system, and that is what is holding the system together as one unit. So that's like the glue that holds everything together and makes everything function in one unit. Okay. So don't tell me this, that wrong candidate. There's no right or wrong candidate for talking about love. Everyone has that capability in the heart. It is inherently present in the heart. It is just that depending on the way that we actually train our mind, in some people it is easy to palpable and feelable, in some other people it is not so. That's all. It's the mind which actually comes as an intervening block. But as and when the mind becomes more subtle, as and when the samskaras are removed from the subconscious mind, the mind no longer becomes an impediment for perceiving and feeling this love from the heart. ठीक है, ठीक है,
Yeah.
let's continue. What's the time now? Oh, 7:30 is 9. Okay, because we have that for 8 o'clock English meeting. So we'll continue another two more pages.
Raghu brother, what is the meaning of pare in Hindi? You have used that word.
Priya, sister, you can tell.
Meaning is to transcend, go beyond.
Trans-
Transcend or go beyond.
Okay, okay.
In Kannada, we use the word paridhi. Paridhi means the outermost boundary. So pare means going beyond the outermost boundary is pare. In Kannada also we use the word. In some local dialect, we use the same word pare. There's a lot of similarities between Kannada and Hindi. So if you have a strong hold of Kannada, you can easily kind of pick up Hindi far more than probably Telugu or Tamil.
Vice versa is also applicable.
No, definitely. But provided you try though. The reason why other people find it difficult is that, especially North Indians, they don't try. If they try, they can pick up Kannada very easily. It's not a big deal at all. There are many words which are very similar between Hindi and Kannada. But it's a bit more challenging for people in Telugu and Tamil to pick up Hindi because they're not very similar. So Gopal Krishna also speaks very good Hindi. You know that? Yeah. He speaks a lot of Chandigarh Hindi, Punjabi Hindi, not UP wala, Punjabi wala.
More of Delhi Hindi.
जरा बोल के दिखा.
Not something that that comes out like. I mean, need some conversation for it to come out.
मैं बोलते रहो ना, उसमें क्या बात है?
ठीक है, बोलते रहेंगे, आप सुनते रहो.
हाँ. See, now he is also able to speak pretty good Hindi. And there is this North Karnataka genes. In general, North Karnataka people carry that set of genes of Hindi and Urdu. So they are kind of primed for picking up the language very easily. You can say that the language of Urdu and Hindi is in the air of North Karnataka. It's in the air, they breathe the language. So that is what happens. Okay, now let's go further. The real significance of the custom is that we must remember Ayataladu. Some people think that constant remembrance of God or fiqh Ayatadu. The idea of Guru as the supreme divine force is very helpful in spiritual pursuit if the Guru himself happens to be merged in the ultimate source of realization. You depend upon his guidance, thinking him to be the superhuman being. If you go on with your own busy routine of life, dedicating everything to your master, imagine what good will it bring to you in the long run. While doing a thing, think that you are not doing it for yourself but for your master. Rather, think that the master himself is doing it for himself. While at the breakfast table, you must think that your master is breaking his fast. When you go to the office, think that your master is doing it all. While returning from the office, suppose you see an attractive dancer on the way. Your eyes are caught by the charming appearance of the dancer. Then also think that your master and not you is seeing the dance. You will at once lose the curiosity for it because your master's power will begin to flow in to relieve you of the temptation. When you come back from the office, your children rejoice to see you after so many hours. You too enjoy the merriment, but it is but natural. Your attention for a while is diverted towards them, and you feel a bit away from the sacred thought. What you are to do then is to think that your master within is himself enjoying, and you shall be in touch with the same sacred thought again. If you are chatting with your friend, think that your master, not you, is talking to him. While walking, think that your master himself is walking. Even during meditation, if you entertain the idea that it is not you, but your master himself is meditating on his own form, it shall bring about excellent results. So these are something that any of us can practice. But when we say master, we are now talking about the living master, not others. Okay. Similarly, you can adjust yourself in all your routine of life. If you cultivate this feeling and maintain the outlook that your master is doing everything in your place, you shall not only be in constant remembrance all the while, but your actions will cause no impressions whatsoever, and you will cease making further samskaras. This is this is a easy way of stopping samskara formation. Constant remembrance of the master. So, any questions on this? We shall go to devotion then. Constant remembrance is, in fact, the natural development of meditational practice, and it acquires efficacy when the abhyasi has become devoted to the object of meditation or constant remembrance. It then ceases to be a dry abhyas and becomes a luscious, all absorbing engagement. So, meditative state is meditation is the mother of meditative state. Meditation is the mother of constant remembrance also. You can say meditation has two children. One is meditative state, other one is constant remembrance. So buy one get one free. Just by the practice of meditation, you can get two children, twins. The fire of love and devotion alone burns down trivial trash and wins the gold from the dross. The burning of love may, however, have three stages. This is also an examination question. Please underline. The burning of love, however, can have three stages. The first is the suppressed smoldering stage, giving out thick smoke. First stage. Suppressed smoldering state, giving out thick smoke. The second has occasional spark in it, and the last one gives out bright burning flame capable of reducing everything to ashes in a moment's time. So these three stages you are asked in the examination. What are the three stages of love? This is the answer. The first stage is suppressed smoldering, giving out thick smoke. Second one is occasional sparks. And the third one is bright burning flame capable of reducing everything to ashes in a moment's time. The first two stages are subject to their exposure to the combustible matter in the air. When the solidity which hampers combustion is removed by the effect of inner heating, the final action starts with full force. The first two stages is because of some solidity of the samskaras. Here, the solidity which hampers combustion is removed by the effect of inner heating, and the final action starts with full force. But then there is the electric fire as well, which bypasses the first two stages and appears only in the final stage, free from smoke and vapor. If you can light up such a fire within you, your progress shall be by leaps and bounds. So my preceptor was saying that ಯಾರಲ್ಲೂ ಬೆಂಕಿ ಕಿಡಿನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. This is the love that he was talking about, the fire of love. He used to say that nobody's heart has that fire of love towards the divine. If there is no fire, where is the question of going towards the divine after burning off to trash all the samskaras? So he will look for fire in the heart of the Abhyasi. And then he sees that the fire is burning only for this person or that person, this thing or that thing. Car, bike, sweet, girl, marriage, children, house, salary, promotion, trips, hiking, biking, liking. So heart is only burning for these things only. Heart is not burning for the thing that is supposed to burn. So then he'll say, I don't know what you say in Hindi, kiddie. क्या बोलते हैं हिंदी में गोपाल कृष्ण? चिंगारी. किसी का हृदय में कोई चिंगारी नहीं है. वो that famous song is there, no? Kishore Kumar song. Chingari koi. That song is there, no? You remember? Now listen to that song. Now relate that song to God. That's what Daji did. Whenever you hear a love song, convert that to God and take God to be your beloved. Then see how good that love song will be for your spiritual progress. Don't sing for your lover, sing for God as your lover. Then you see the beauty of it. Okay. So that also gives you the freedom to listen to love songs now. And you have a lot of them in the Hindi though. especially Kishore Kumar, Mohammed Rafi. There are so many songs. It's just that how you actually convert that in your attitude towards the God as beloved. That actually helps your journey. So film songs remembered in the context of a lover actually binds you. The same songs remembered in the context of God as a lover, actually as a beloved, actually unbinds you. Okay. So now tomorrow when you come for the next class, you can tell us what is your favorite song in this context. ठीक है? So everyone can say, why only Priya sister? Everyone can say. So Dheeraj, you also listen to Hindi songs?
Yes, brother, not frequently. Telugu.
You don't remember the older songs?
No, world and all. I don't.
So which one do you actually listen to then?
Hindi, all starting from Tare Zameen Par Lagan,
Which one?
Tare Zameen Par.
Ah, there is no love song in Tare Zameen Par. Man.
Sir, love between student and teacher is also love only, no?
That is that is fine. I'm not talking about that kind of love. I'm talking between a lover and a beloved. That is the core of the love. That is the most intense love. Other loves are there, of course, brotherly, sisterly, parental love, all those things. Teacher, student, all those things are also there. But it's not as strong in terms of its attraction as between a lover and a beloved. So remember that. That's why Babuji is writing here that the best of the bhavas is to take God as beloved and you being the lover. So he's giving you suggestion for a very fast result. ठीक है ना? Say even if you love your teacher as a student, after some period of time, you let go of the teacher and then marry somebody else. Right? So it's a passing phase, so to say. The love between a lover and the beloved is what is sustains through a long portion of life. Other loves are there, and then it kind of keeps varying in its intensity as you grow. Right? So anyway, coming up to 7:52, I thought we'll finish another. Okay, we can finish till surrender. Devotion and love, of course, remain so easy and yet so difficult an achievement at once. Real devotion has no tinge of affection in it and goes hand in glove with enlightenment. Underline that. Real devotion has no tinge of affection in it and goes hand in glove with enlightenment. In the initial stages, the devotee may be conscious of his feeling towards the object of his love, but at higher stages, the foam and the fury is dimmed to the extent that almost total loss of its awareness at its ultimate state. So, in the ultimate state of love, the lover doesn't know who they are loving, why they are loving. So that's what it's saying. The foam and fury is dimmed to such an extent that there is almost total loss of awareness in the ultimate stage. The superfine level of devotion may be spoken as total self surrender, from which the awareness of surrender has suddenly or entirely been withdrawn by the grace of the Supreme Master himself. The problem of practicing devotion surrender in a natural way is there. For this purpose, it is said that one can love another person of his own species best. So the Guru is taken into account as the personification of the Supreme. So he is an embodiment of the Supreme. That's why we take the living Guru. That's the importance of the living Guru. In my case, my master was the only object of my love. I was not a lover of freedom or peace or perfection or anything, but only of him and him alone. My master was no doubt worthy of it, being the finest, fittest man to be meditated upon and be devoted to. He was altogether free from egoistic feelings, desires, and worldly entanglements, and devoted wholly to his own self. This phrase refers to a spiritual state of a high order not commonly bestowed upon man. That was the reason why I loved him as much as best as I could. I tried heart and soul to get myself merged in him in toto, and this had been the life pursuit for me. It was because I got a master who was unparalleled and matchless. For the results achieved therefrom, I have no words to express. In a word, he is infinite ocean of grace in which we have all to merge. May it be accessible to all earnest seekers. So in other place, Babuji writes, I had nothing to do with God. It was not God who helped me to reach the highest stage of spirituality. It was my master alone. So I have nothing to do with God. I have everything to do with my master. Okay. So we shall leave it here and then we shall catch up again next time. Any question? So if you have a question also, we'll take it next time after that. Okay. It's only another 4 or 5 minutes left for the other meeting. Okay. So thank you very much. I've given you 2 homeworks. So Gopal Krishna is going to see his favorite movie, Three Idiots, Zubi Dooby Doo, and Priya sister is going to look at the song Chingari Koi Bhadke. Okay, and all of you are going to come back with your favorite love song. Okay, bye then. Good night. Okay,
you.
namaste. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
your time.
Thank you. Thank you.